Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of House Spouse. Today we're cooking once again in the kitchen. We're going to do our third installment of cooking with my grandmas. Now the first one I just kind of reached into the grab bag and whatever I pulled out is what I made. I will freely admit this time I cheated a little bit because I saw a date on a recipe through the bag and I knew it would fit in perfectly with this other project that I'm doing called 40 Years Ago Today. So let me take a time out on the whole house spouse thing and cooking with my grandmas and talk about 40 years ago today. 40 years ago today is my journey on finding out who I am. Very much a genealogy slash family history slash autobiography project where I go through my own family archives, find information about me and write about it. And right now, 40 years ago today, I'm not very old, so I don't really remember very much, but my parents are still around. Thankfully, they've been able to add a little bit of history to my history, a little bit of backstory on what's going on, how things were, what I was like, and more detail about the things that I have found, whether it is documents or letters. I've found photos, all sorts of stuff. Anyway, the date that I saw on the recipe that I have right here is November 15th, 1977. Now, technically today isn't the 15th, but it's going to be the 15th when I release this, so just pretend it's the 15th, which would be perfect for 40 years ago today. And I said, oh, that's great, I've got this recipe, I'll make it. It'll tie into both 40 years ago today and cooking with my grandmas, my whole YouTube house spouse thing that I've got going on. It'll be a little bit of both, and that's what we're going to do today. So enough of this. Let's get into this and see what we got cooking in the kitchen. Today's recipe is oatmeal bars. If you love oatmeal cookies and hate the time it takes to cook them, try these. Delicious. Shortening. 1 cup firmly packed brown sugar. 1/2 cup granulated sugar, 1/4 cup of water, just pretend that's water, 1 teaspoon vanilla, 1/2 teaspoon rum flavoring, optional, we're going to skip that, 1 cup flour, 1 teaspoon salt, 1/2 teaspoon soda, as in baking soda, 3 cups uncooked oats. Now this is where things might get a little weird because I'm using quick oats. 1/2 cup chocolate chips and 1/2 cup butterscotch chips. And it says, in a large bowl, combine shortening, brown sugar, sugar, water, vanilla, and rum flavoring. Stir until fluffy. Add flour, salt, and soda, mixing well. Stir in oats and chips. Bake on well-greased pans at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 minutes. Use one 9 by 13 inch pan and one 8 by 8 inch pan for a thin, crispy type bar. For a chewy bar, bake in one 9 by 12 inch pan. You will have to use your fingers to press dough out into the pans. They are very good served with gelatin. Mrs. Arthur Reed, Washburn, Missouri. Well, Mrs. Arthur Reed, let's see how your recipe goes. You guys know that? So, it's one of those tricks, I think my mom taught me. My dad might have taught me. I don't know. But you take a stick of butter, or in this case a stick of Crisco, and you just go around, and that's how you grease it. Something else you can do is get some on a paper towel and go around. Yesterday I made macaroni and cheese casserole as a kind of a test run for Thanksgiving, and everybody seemed to like it. including my wife. So now my daughter did not like the onions that I put in it. So I think when I make it for Thanksgiving, I'll skip the onions. Oh, my son didn't like it because he didn't eat it. He's allergic to milk. So probably could have used a spoon instead of this, but oh well. Alright, timer says it's done. Let's see what we got here. Alright, alright, alright. Out of the oven. And I'll just crack that, might as well heat the house. I don't know, folks, what do you think? Looks pretty darn tasty to me. Looks pretty darn tasty. Well, I guess we gotta let it cool off before we try it, right? I don't wanna, but I will. Hashtag not sponsored.